Is she ready? Okay. Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 10:14 on Thursday, December 11th for the Truckee Meadows Water Authority agenda. So welcome and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. Sorry for the delay. I will go ahead and move to roll call, please.
Anderson.
Here.
Andriola.
Present.
Dewar is absent. Hill, absent. Martinez.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Vanderwell.
Here.
Alternate Ebert is online.
Here.
Thank you.
Here.
Broder.
Here.
Julia. Here. We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment. Is Mr. Zimmerman available?
Yes, he is.
If Mr. Zimmerman could share with us a little brief statement before we move to the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
So good morning, board members. As you can see, I'm not sick or unavailable, but I believe it's important to me to ensure that someone's able to fill in for me if I'm ever absent at a future board meeting. I haven't missed a board meeting yet, and I don't plan to, but I wanted to make it as seamless as possible if that happens in the future. And so Mr. Rotter's there to help run the meeting. I'll be following along, so if you have any questions or need direct input from me, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman, and welcome, Mr. Rotter. And I guess you are prepared for Vice Chair Anderson, giving you an inaugural opportunity for your adventure today. So we'll move to item 2, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Rotter, would you be so kind to lead us?
Should be in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move now to item number 3, which is public comment. And public comment is limited to 3 minutes. We do have Mr. McNeil. Would you be so kind to come up, please? And if you could just identify your name, and I do want to just remind you about the 3 minutes. And there's a clock if you can see it, just to give you your own timing.
If you would, yeah, just press the green. You're on.
It's already,
Thank you.
it's already.
Just turn it on.
Are we
Yeah,
good?
Yeah, I think they had it.
Is it working?
It's working great. Welcome.
Okay. Ken McNeil, I'm here just to talk briefly about your current rate study, and I have some concerns. And in expressing those concerns, I want to make sure that I don't want to be critical of any staff members here at TMWA. I think you have wonderful staff members, and when I have questions, they've answered them, but I still have some concerns, and I'd like to go over those very fast. I don't know where my time is.
I can only 1 or 2.
Oh,
2.5 minutes.
okay. Anyway, here is one of your newsletters, and it says,
Can
Truckee
you pull
Met,
it down a little bit?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Keep going, keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's just you're
Oh.
pointing in an area that we
Okay,
can't see.
sorry,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Says Truckee Meadows Water Authority strives for rates that are equitable and easy to understand. And then I have another document from your board meeting on October 15th. And it says, when communicating with the public, it is, oh, I'm sorry, I'll have to read the whole sentence. At this time, the board thanks staff for their due diligence in addressing this issue and requested that when communicating with the public, it be simplified, clear, and concise as it is difficult and complex topic. So those two statements kind of conflict with each other. You've got a newsletter say that you're trying to make things simple, and then you have a board meeting where you say it's complicated. And I think it's more complicated than simple. Here's, whoops, I'm sorry. Here's, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, didn't come to, okay. here's what I really would like to talk about. There's a number of things I'm concerned about, but today, if you look at the single-family customer charge, you want to make the meter charges either 3/4 inch or the larger meters all for 1 inch. That is that amounts to almost $800,000. And then you want to shift those charges to use charges. I'm not sure what that means. And maybe you know what it means, but I don't know what it means. And so if those charges are shifted to other customers, that just doesn't seem fair. Am I making sense a little bit? So also, when you're reducing the meter charge, you're not doing that for the commercial customers. You're not doing that for multifamily. You're doing it for the residential. And as far as I know, everybody uses off the same water system. So it doesn't seem fair, although I'm a residential customer myself, it just doesn't seem fair to reduce the charges for one classification and not for others. And that's the extent of my comments today.
Thank you. And Mr. McNeil, I think that there's an opportunity to talk to staff. I don't know if you're available to stay because some of the staff that can help you are actually on the agenda, but there is an opportunity for staff to follow up with you. And so you've given us your information. Do you have a contact information and making sure that Sonia has that?
Yeah, Matt Bowman does have a list of questions that he's
Great.
working on. So
Great.
we have had communication, and I appreciate that, I do.
Sure.
But I just think that there are some questions that just should be answered that haven't been.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
All right.
Appreciate it. Is there any other public comment at this time?
I do, Madam Chair.
Sure.
I received this public comment from a, not a Tumwell customer, but a concerned customer. Ms. Dummett, dear board members, please do not forget that at least 100 people who live in the River Oak Homeowners Association have had high hopes that Tumwell would be able to be our water provider. We do not agree with the Nevada Public Utilities Commission that have selected a Tumwell wholesale connection versus a Tumwell total consolidation connection for our community. Mrs. Dewar, John Silverman, and Alexis Hill have been to our community, gotten and given feedback and suggestions, re our hopes and aspirations for connection to Tumwell. A group of homeowners separate from the current ROHA board who seem to accept the NPUC recommendations are continuing to see what, if anything, would ensure Tumwell to be our provider at some point in the future. I'm writing to let you know that Tumwell, not VMUC, is our ultimate choice for our community. Unfortunately, I won't be able to tell you in person, but we'll be following Tumwell's meetings and decision-making henceforth. Thank you for your support and information thus far. It has been greatly appreciated. Sincerely, Bev Dummett, 90-year-old active senior of River Oak Homeowners Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Thank you. Hearing none, we'll move now to item number 4, board comments or acknowledgements. Does anybody have anything? Hearing none, we'll move now to item number 5, which is approval of the agenda. I'm looking for a motion at this time. We have a motion by member Vanderwell. Do we have a second?
Second.
That's a flip. I'm going to go with, we're going to make a decision here. We'll go with member Taylor because we want to reserve your energy for Mr. Rotter. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll move now to the approval of the minutes for October 15th of 2025. Any changes or edits or anything?
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. A motion by member Anderson, a second by member Martinez. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll move now to item number 7, which is a report regarding the ombudsman activities from December 2024 through November 2025 and request for board direction on possible authorization for the general manager to proceed with Kim Mazares as ombudsman for calendar year 2026. Thank you.
Good morning, Marcy Westlake for the record. Kim Mazares has been our ombudsman since December of '22. Kim does an excellent job for us. She takes all those difficult calls that people want help with, other than coming through our call center. So Kim is always there to help, and she knows our business and is very helpful. And I always appreciate when they've spoken to Kim, knowing that she has directed them in the most positive way possible. So we would like to, hopefully, I'll let Kim talk, but.
Only if I can figure out how to turn the mic on. All right, thank you, Sonia. For those that don't know me, board members, I am Kim Mazares. I retired from TMWA nearly 10 years ago. I was the Director of Customer Relations at that time. And as Marcy said, 3 years ago, opted to be the ombudsman for TMWA, where people can call if they don't know where else to call or aren't satisfied with an answer. I will work with them and work with Marcy or others at TMWA to get to resolution. The final page of your board report for this item is a summary. I quit on the detailed information, putting the spam calls because they have increased like crazy. I have a TMWA provided phone, and somebody somewhere, Danny, got a list of TMWA phone numbers because I hear you guys have been inundated as well. But I strive to return every phone call, whether or not they leave me a message, so I know which ones are spam and which ones are real. The summary of the 51 legitimate calls are on the back of your board report or the last page of your board report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Well, I would just like to say thank you. I have had the experience of you actually connecting me with a constituent, and I'm sure we all have shared that experience. And so I think the responsiveness to every inquiry is noted, and I think it's reflected. Thanks for including the summary report. It was interesting. I too saw some of those spam, and I'm like, well, there's nothing happening. It must be a spam call. So I'm sorry that that's happening, but I do appreciate all of your hard work and really being a conduit to clarity for some things that maybe seem really confusing and getting people to the right folks, like Mr. McNeil. So anything else? All
So
right.
we would like to move to approve that Kim continue on as our ombudsman.
Yes, and it is an action item and the information was provided in the packet. So I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to retain Ms. Mazares as ombudsman for the calendar year 2026.
Great. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by member Anderson, a second by member Vanderwell. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for the detailed report and connecting us with constituents. It's very appreciated.
If any of you ever have any questions, feel free to call.
Thank you. We'll move now to item number 8. So it's a public hearing, so I'm going to open up the public hearing at this time. And the first item of the public hearing is to call for public comment. Do I have any public comment on public hearing on rule amendments? Hearing.
Sorry, if anyone online wants to push the press 9 to raise your hand. Not have anyone online.
Great, thank you. We'll move now to item B, which is actually the second reading of the rule amendment. The first reading was October 15th, so Mr. Gadleri, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Eddie Qualieri, Natural Resources Manager for the record. I have Sean Stoddard, Senior Resource Economist here to answer any questions if there are any. So this is a second reading of this minor rule change. We looked at single-family residential and multifamily residential resource demands, and we have lowered those by about 10% on the multifamily and close to about 5% on the single-family residential. Since the first reading, we've sent these proposed changes to BAN and NAOP. On November 18th, I met with the Nevada Division of Water Resources, and they were in agreement with our changes and our approach to those changes. So I'm waiting for a letter signed by the state engineer that agrees with these changes due to the fact that they signed the final maps for our will-serve dedications. So that's all I have, and I'll take any questions.
Great. Would you like to add anything? Great. Any questions from the board? Member Anderson?
So looking through there, I didn't notice as far as like review as time goes on to make sure that it's actually holding in line. Is there a process? I can't remember seeing that in there.
Yeah, so we're planning on looking at this, this study every about 3 to 5 years, probably more closer to 3 years. We don't feel like after this change, we feel like they'll be pretty solid for a long time, but we'll still look at them and verify that. We've worked, want to thank Sean for his study too, but he's also worked in the background to more automate this process, so he doesn't have to do as much statistical analysis, so we can do a quicker look at it as well. So just some background. Do you have anything to?
And one of the things kind of important to note, we've been tracking this since the founding of TMWA and regularly making adjustments. Usually adjustments occur about once every 5 years or so. There's enough change in water use as new buildings are requiring less and less. And that's usually what's happening. But we are starting to see where everything's kind of reaching that point where there's just not much more that's likely to change. So, but we are looking at where we can review this every couple of years for each building. We're usually working with 4 or 5 years of historic data so we can kind of really track it. But the trend has really stabilized in the last 5 years or so.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great. Member Eber, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thanks. I don't think anyone has any questions for you, but certainly we appreciate all of your hard work and thanks for clarifying in terms of timing. That was a great question, so thank you. I'll move at this point to ask and request for approval of the, this will be the second reading, and the motion is actually in your packet if you need it. I don't know if it's going to be. Do you know where the motion is? If not, would someone like to?
In
make
the
that?
staff report.
Yeah, it is. Do you want to make the motion?
Madam Chair,
It's
you
not,
have
it's
it?
not on.
I got it.
Okay, go ahead. Mr. Martinez.
Move to adopt resolution number 338 to approve the red line version of the updated Rule 7 as presented and adopt the update Rule 7 contingent on receiving state engineer's approval.
Great. We have a motion by member Martinez. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second by member Anderson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Because this is a public hearing, we'll call for public comment at this time. Is there any public comment? Anybody online?
Anyone online wishing to speak? Raise your hand. Nobody else.
I'll go ahead and officially close the public hearing on rule amendments. Thank you so much. We'll move now to item number 9, which is the water supply. Ms. Steelan.
Morning, Board. Cara Steelan, Senior Hydrologist and Watershed Coordinator for the record. I have a brief water supply update for you. We are a couple of months into the 2026 water year now, and so you'll see some graphs you've seen many times before. So I think we all know it's been pretty dry out there in terms of snowpack. And so this is the snow water equivalent in the Truckee Basin across multiple snow-tell sites that are managed by the Natural Resource Conservation Service. So again, snow water equivalent is basically the amount of water in the snowpack. So if the snow were to melt, how much water would we get out of that snowpack in inches? So the top purplish blue line is the maximum we've ever seen in the period of record. The red is the lowest, and the green is median. So the black is our 2026 water year. So you can see we are well below median at this point in time, but we are very early in the snowpack building season. So we have seen many other years that looked like this, that ended up, 2023 was quite dry like this and ended up being a record-breaking year. So nothing to be concerned about at this point in time. And actually, interestingly enough, if you remember kind of our earlier fall months, we did have a very wet fall. And so precipitation is actually above average. So we've been getting precipitation, but it's been in the form of rain instead of snow. And so that is actually good for runoff. The soil moisture, again, across those same snow-tell sites, those gauges, is well above average, again, shown in the black line here. And what that means is in the spring, when the snow does start to melt, we'll have more efficient runoff because the water won't be infiltrating into the soil. It'll just be running off into our rivers and reservoirs. So this graph is a projection that the NRCS puts out, and you can see basically, I just wanted to show this because we have the whole range of options still moving forward. So we can't make predictions about what the rest of the winter is going to look like yet. So you can see everything from near maximum to minimum, but we are seeing a pattern that looks like there's a ridge off the West Coast, and it looks like it is going to hopefully break up kind of around December 18th or 19th, and there is precipitation in the forecast again. So good news ahead. And thanks to TROA and our upstream storage, we are projecting, this is the Lake Tahoe elevation through water year 2026. So through September 30th of 2026, this is the elevation above the natural rim at Tahoe. So that top 6.1 feet, that's the reservoir. And the yellow line shows the projected elevation of Tahoe. And you can see that we are still anticipating to have Tahoe about a foot below full. So still a lot of water in Tahoe. And as you all know, this is a really good barometer for the health of the whole system. So when Tahoe is full or near full, we will have good river flows for several years beyond that. And you can see that same here. We've got the blue, which is the observed, projected in yellow. This is the river or the flow at Fairad, so where we typically measure flow near the California-Nevada state line. And that's where the Florestan rates need to be met. And Florestan rates are projected to be met through all of next water year. So that means normal river flows through next year. And again, that's because of upstream storage. This graph shows the reservoirs and where TMWA owns water and where others are storing water. So you can see that we're at about 60% of capacity right now for overall reservoir storage. So still in really good shape. TMWA has about 37 to 38,000 acre feet in storage. And again, that's just drought supply storage. That's not Florestan rate water, which is what's used to meet that required rate of flow. So still in good shape, even with a dry start to the water year or in terms of snowpack. Because of the rain, you can see that the drought monitor is actually better than I think last time I presented because there's much more soil moisture. And so we are not in a drought at this point in time. This was the upcoming forecast as of 2 days ago. I checked this morning and it's actually showing in the next, that 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, like I mentioned, is actually looking like it's shifting into the above average side on the precipitation. So it's still supposed to be warm, but it does look like we're at least going to get some more rain and high elevation snow, hopefully towards the end of December. And then lastly, it's the 10-year anniversary of TROA. So the Truckee River Operating Agreement was implemented on December 1st of 2015. It's been successfully used to benefit the regional water supply for a decade for TMWA and all of the other water rights holders on the river. I think one of the great examples is we had a relatively short drought from 2020 to 2022, and TMWA was able to accumulate nearly 60,000 acre feet of drought reserves in upstream storage because of TROA and our ability to hold back water to use it when we need it. And that's close to double the previous maximum storage pre-TROA of 32,000 acre feet. So if that drought would have persisted, we would have had a really robust water supply to weather through additional drought years. And so, as we all know, it's essential for the long-term water supply reliability of the Truckee Meadows, for TMWA and other TROA signatory parties. So it's been successful for 10 years, and lots of amazing coordination has been going on with all of the parties. And with that, happy to take any questions or comments.
Thank you. Thanks for a great presentation. Any questions? Hearing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
very
all your
much.
hard work, and hopefully we'll have some snow.
Fingers
hopefully.
crossed.
Like today, I guess, is 1 degree away from a record year, right? Of warmth. So we'll close that item. We'll move to item 10, which is discussion and action confirming the appointment of Bryce Twitchell as a trustee to fill the remaining term of Steve Enos to the 501c9 post-retirement medical plan and trust ending on December 31st, 2026. This is an action item, Ms. Atkinson. Thank you.
Excellent. For the record, Jessica Atkinson. TMWA has 2 closed post-retirement medical trusts. The one that we're talking about today is the 501c9 trust. That's actually the original trust of TMWA that came over with the assets of Sierra Pacific Power Company. And Mr. Enos has served as a trustee since the inception of that trust with TMWA, and he will be retiring early next year. And so in accordance with the trust document, that's ran overseen by 4 trustees. 2 are appointed by IBEW, and then 2 are MPAT representatives. Mr. Enos is a IBEW representative, and so IBEW has nominated Bryce Twitchell to step in and complete his remaining term. And in accordance with that particular plan document, it requires TMWA board approval to confirm that appointment. And so that's the action item we're looking for today.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Atkinson? This is an action item, and so I'll call for a motion at this time. It's in your packet. For those who would like to make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Taylor. We have a second? Second. We have a second by Member Vanderwell. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll move now to item 11, discussion and action on the adoption of resolution number 339, a resolution to approve the annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025. Easy reading.
All right, got me going here. There too. All right. Make sure you can hear me. Okay, good morning. I'm Sophie Cardinal, TMWA's financial controller. And this item is the presentation of the fiscal year 25 annual comprehensive financial report, which we call the ACFR for short. Actually, I don't think this is my presentation. That's okay, Sonia.
Annie?
Oh,
I
pow.
apologize.
Wow.
You were doing me a favor.
Yeah, you've been
That's,
slacking.
this is
There it
yours.
is. Give me that one. I was gonna say, I'm not ready for that.
There we are.
That's it. That's it. That's it. There we go. Okay, now I'm ready. So the purpose of the ACFR is to provide a complete picture of TMWA's financial conditions and operations for the fiscal year. It also demonstrates compliance with legal and regulatory requirements, supports decision-making, and provides transparency. Of course, I hope you'll read the ACFR in its entirety, but just in case you don't, today I'll highlight the 4 most important takeaways: auditor reports, debt payoff, impairment loss, and GASB 101. The ACFR contains 2 reports from our auditing firm, Eide Bailly. The first report covers the audit of our financial statements and states that Eide Bailly believes that our financials are fairly presented and follow all the accounting standards that pertain to them. This represents an unqualified or a clean audit opinion. The second report considers our internal controls as observed during the financial statement audit and states that Eide Bailly did not identify any deficiencies in them. Eide Bailly also performed a single audit, which involves extra testing of our management and use of federal grant funds.
However, they couldn't finalize their audit and issue their reports in time for this board meeting. This is because the 2025 Compliance Supplement, which is a document issued by the Office of Management and Budget and provides guidance to auditors performing single audits, was delayed. The supplement is usually issued in May, but wasn't issued until the end of November this year, primarily due to administrative backlog, and then the federal government shutdown didn't help. Eide Bailly is currently working to complete the single audit and finalize their reports for inclusion in the ACFR. Based on discussions with Eide Bailly, though, and us reviewing draft reports, we're expecting them to confirm that TMWA complied with all requirements related to our grant funding. We do also expect a finding, specifically a material weakness in internal control related to us reporting a grant expenditure in the wrong fiscal year. It's important to point out that the finding does not jeopardize our grant proceeds. It was limited to only a reporting error. And of course, we have already implemented a new process to minimize the risk of it happening again. Next, I'm happy to call out that TMWA paid off 2 of its state revolving fund bonds this year, specifically the 2005 and the 2014 issues. Matt Bowman and Sandra Tozy proactively managed TMWA's debt to reduce our interest costs, improve financial stability, and provide the opportunity for high credit ratings. So now that these 2 are off the books, they're already planning their next move to improve our debt structure. You might remember the Davis fire that swept through our area in September of 2024. That fire damaged our old Washoe Well number 4 facility, primarily the above-ground infrastructure. Accordingly, we reported a capital asset impairment loss and disclosed information about it in Note 14 of the ACFR. Our engineering team has a capital project in place to rebuild and place the facility back in service. The final ACFR takeaway is that TMWA implemented Governmental Accounting Standards Board number 101 for compensated absences this year. This standard provides guidance on how to recognize and measure liabilities related to employee leave benefits, i.e. compensated absences. We previously reported liabilities for only the time we expected to pay out to employees at termination or retirement. Now with GASB 101, we've added in an estimated liability for the sick time that people are more than likely to use during employment. So this results in a larger liability and is therefore more conservative than in years past. And that's it for the ACFR. I'll speak briefly now about our popular annual financial report, which we call the PAFR for short. It's an 18-page document that highlights the essential elements of the ACFR, throws in an extra few articles for fun, and then presents them in a manner that's easier to understand and is more visually pleasing. So our intent with the PAFR is to increase transparency, accountability, and communication with those who care about how we're doing financially. And then before I conclude, I'd like to thank the team of people who helped with these documents. I've listed their names on the screen there. It takes a lot of effort to put them together, and so they definitely deserve to be acknowledged. And that concludes my presentation. I'm now happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation. Thanks for being so succinct in such a complex, detailed report. Any questions? I have a question.
I know you do.
I'm ready. Numbers and me. First of all, I really want a statement. The fact that there was a certification of achievement for excellence of financial reporting in 2024 is to be commended to TMWA and to the team and to the entire organization. Numbers matter, and that transparency is reflected in making sure that you have not only the audit and the compliance and the internal controls reviewed, but the accolade of having a certification. And I'm just wondering, is that something that is anticipated for 2025, or how do you know when that's coming? I don't really know much about that certification or recognition.
Well, thank you first for your kind words. I appreciate that. The team, I know, appreciates that acknowledgement as well. So thank you. And then, yes, to answer your question, we apply for that award every year. So after our ACFR is finalized, we submit it to the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association. They review our ACFR and then determine if it meets the criteria for receiving the award. We'll always go for it.
Great. Well, I hope that you can bring back the news that you again have received that accolation, right? I mean, it's a big deal, and that's why I'm pointing it out. It's a big deal. The other thing that I wanted to ask is a question, and it's directly related to your disclosure, and thank you for doing that, specifically in some of the barriers that didn't allow Ide Bailey to finish out the compliance reports due to various delays you've already shared. What I didn't hear is what is anticipated time for that to be completed?
Thank you for the question. I can definitely elaborate on that. So actually this week, we plan to issue, Ide Bailey plans to issue the single audit reports tomorrow.
Oh,
So
okay.
I just couldn't get them in time.
No, that's fine. Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing that. And I also really appreciate you pointing out the finding that will be coming. You know, auditors and any of us have had the pleasure of going through a full audit in various levels. They're going to find something, and that's what makes the auditing so strong. And so the fact that the reporting was probably just a human error, we're human beings, and you pointing that out, and then actually confirming that the internal control has been tightened to prevent that from happening again is another testament to what I hope you'll be sharing the 2025 Certification of Reporting Award. So thank you for that. I also, just lastly, the offer, is that the, I don't remember the acronym, the annual report
The
that goes.
ACFR.
No, not ACFR, the
PAFR.
PAFR,
The other
yeah.
one.
There's a lot of terms. That was so well done, and I really want to commend you. That is not necessarily something that is easily readable, but the way that you displayed that information to the public is really, really commendable. So I want to recognize you for that as well.
Oh, thank you. That one I definitely can't take the credit for. Cami from Good Standing does a lot of that work. We give her the information. She puts it in a good package. Robert does some editing for us too. And voila, that is not me.
It shows, I made a comment to somebody yesterday that we have moved into a culture of being, you know, picture driven. And I think it reflects that. To have complex information so displayed so simply and succinctly is to be commended. So thanks to the team that did that.
And just for your information.
I'll work on that. It's, what is it again?
The PAFR.
PAFR.
The PAFR.
Okay.
Just for your information, we do submit that to the GFOA as well.
Oh, good.
And every year we've done so, we've also received an award for that.
Well, let us know that the award that hopefully will be coming for that one as well. Anything else from the board? Well, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. And this is an action item, so I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Madam Chair, move to adopt resolution number 339 to approve the annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025.
We have a motion by Mr. Anderson, and we have a second? Second by Member Vanderwell. Any further discussion? No, but it can be on another one. You've got the next one is what I'm hearing. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Discussion has been closed. I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much. And thanks again for the entire team for putting together complex information that is easily readable. We'll move now to item number 12, because financial is just right on the top of our mind here. We'll go to the financial performance for the first quarter of fiscal year 2026. Mr. Bowman.
Thanks. All right. Good morning, members of the board. Matt Bowman, TMWA CFO for the record. Yes, to continue with the theme of financials, this is our quarterly financial update. You're going to notice this is a little different. It's like Chair Andriola, you teed this up for me talking about visuals and graphics because I'm proposing a change to how I present this. This is the one where we usually walk through this report. And I thought, you know, I think it's better with a presentation. And so that's what we've done here. So this is the fiscal 2026 Q1 year-to-date financial results. So this is through September 30th of 2025. This report's gonna, it's gonna mirror, the presentation's gonna mirror what's in the report with a few other interesting topics, I think, sprinkled in. And that's the idea here, focusing mainly on actual versus budget information. So we'll get going. First slide, some of the highlights. Operating revenue, you can see about 2% lower than budget. That's driven by water sales. We were a little lower in the quarter, but pretty close. About $1 million lower. Operating expenses, $2 million lower or 7%. I've used colors here as a Christmas theme, but also because red's bad, green's good. So, you know, water sales lower, bad, I guess you could say. Operating expenses lower, good, that's green. So same theme throughout this page. Investment earnings, $200,000 above budget. Connection fees, this is our developer contributions, lower by about 40%. That's significant in the first quarter, but what I'll say, it's in the note here. We've caught up basically in October and November. We had some big payments come through, and so really we have caught up. We're seeing potentially a slowdown in new business coming in, but financially we've caught up as far as cash goes, at least through part of the second quarter. Capital spending, $14.5 million during the quarter, and our cash balance since the beginning of the year is down about $4 million, which is not uncommon at this point. So we'll go to the next slide. So I'm going to dive in, kind of break down some of the categories within the financials, starting with operating revenue. This box here is around water sales. And so there's going to be some charts that are going to look similar throughout this presentation where the blue bars or those on the left-hand side, for those that might be colorblind, my father's colorblind, compared to budget, which is orange right next to it. So again, water sales were about 2% of budget. Hydroelectric revenue actually exceeded budget by 25%. We've had good river flows and low downtime for less maintenance. Team is doing a great job keeping those plants running as usual. And then other operating sales, slightly below budget. Again, a little lower on the new business side within there. This is one of the new charts that I just thought would be interesting to show. This is gallons sold in the first quarter over the last 5 years. So July through September over the last 5 years, the column on the far right is the most recent quarter. And so you can see it's pretty consistent. The one interesting thing to point out that the bar in the very middle is Q1 fiscal 2024. That was the quarter following 2023, where we had an extremely wet spring. We saw water sales fall off a cliff that spring, and then that continued into the summer months, which is our first quarter. And so you can see how that affects gallons sold there. But overall, when I look at this, it's pretty consistent year to year, as we'd expect. Next slide is operating expenses. So again, blue and orange, actual to budget. This is broken into two broad categories: salaries, wages, benefits, which is on the left, and then services and supplies, both under budget as expected. And then the last bullet point here is year over year salaries, wages, benefits, and you'll see this in the report. They're higher than prior year as expected, as we've had LMI increases, contract increases, and step increases, as well as some additions to staff. Services and supplies year over year, though, remain flat, and that's part of kind of our focus as we've moved into our budgeting process and really trying to tighten things up, and we're achieving that as best we can at this point. Here's another new one. So this is kind of zooming in a little bit to salaries, wages line item, and this is employee headcount. actual to budget. We broke it into two categories here, IBEW, which is our bargaining unit folks, and then MPAT, which is everybody else. And so you can see it's about 50-50 as far as headcount goes, and lower than budget here, which is expected. The chart on the right is what's called a tree map. And it's a kind of a distribution chart of where those employees land within each department. It kind of shows you the scale of the departments. Nothing to note particularly here, just kind of information. And I think that's something that this new presentation I'm proposing is to just give you some information to sort of help you understand a little bit more into our operations and how things work. So you can see distribution maintenance operations has a lot of staff. That's Ryan Dixon's group there. So the other thing is we do expect headcount to stay well under budget for the year, partly because we always are a little under budget, but also if you'll recall in October, we talked about, we took some headcount out of what we had originally planned during the next, really the next funding plan. Some of that is effective this year too, so. This is non-operating revenue and expenses. So investment earnings on the left, again, actual to budget, a little bit higher than budget. The far right is our interest expense. So sort of what's going up is cash coming in. That's our investment earnings, interest expense, cash going out. And so nothing too surprising here. One thing just to touch on in this slide, I think it's relevant, is last year, you're probably, or yesterday, not last year, you're probably aware the Fed did have a 25 basis point cut. As expected, the market had priced that in already in all the indexes. But what I think is interesting is it seems like if you pay attention to the dot plot, which I think next quarter I might show you the dot plot, they're projecting only one rate cut next year in 2026. So maybe some softening there. That affects TMWA in a couple ways. As market rates are cut, then when we have investments that mature and get reinvested, we're investing at a little lower rate. So that you could call that bad. But then on the good side, if we're refunding debt, then we're able to refund at a lower rate there too. So, so that's that slide. This next slide is another bit of information related to interest expense. This is a picture of our outstanding debt, and a principal amount on the left, and then the different issuances are the bars across the bottom. You can see the bigger ones are our refunding bonds, our 2016, 2017s, 2018, and 2024. Those are all at coupon rates of 5%. When we go to market and issue them, we do issue them typically at premiums, and so those effective rates are lower. And then I'll note here that in the bullet point on this slide, we are planning, and we've started the process of refunding our 2015 and 2016 bonds. And looks like some good savings here, 9.7 million or 13% savings over the life of those bonds. Those bonds go out through 2037, so those savings are realized over time. But we're moving forward with that. We did an RFP and selected RBC as the underwriter on that. It's a negotiated sale. So we're moving forward with that. Expect to close in April of 2026 if all goes well, and we think it will. We don't see any big changes in the market or anything else there. Capital contributions. So here, as I mentioned, our new business fees or connection fees are lower by about 40%, although catching up. And that's kind of the box there in the middle represents what you could think of as our connection fees that developers are paying. We did receive a larger payment in October, which was related to a couple projects, a couple payments, Taos Valley and Quilcy Ranch, which caught us up. And then the last set of bars on the right is contributions from other governments. That reflects the payments from Reno for American Flat. And so the project is moving forward, but we sort of straight lined the expected spend this year. And so we're going to show that as lower than budget until construction kicks off, pending approval from both entities, governing bodies in the summer. So this is a slide on capital spending. So we thought it'd be interesting to show spending by quarter for the last 5 quarters compared to budget. As as you know, we always spend, we tend to be between 60 and 70% of budget when we're actually spending capital versus what we have in the CIP. Although the second bullet there is our goal for going forward is 75% of spend. And there's a couple things going into that. One is it's a planning. We've emphasized capital planning with the creation of a capital steering committee where projects are coming in and we're trying to dial in really our plan and then execution of those projects. And so that's going to help us get to 75% spend of CIP, which is, I think it's a little bit of a stretch goal. I think we can do it. But we're typically 65% or so. So, and really what it is it comes down to more refined planning. And so you can see we're always below budget. It sort of varies quarter to quarter. And then I threw a picture in there of the Oreditch Pump Station and Hydro Facility, which is wrapping up. And so we'll see some shift from that project to others as far as the spend goes. And then one thing to note is we do expect to receive tax incentive credit for that project. About a year from now is when I'm hoping we receive the proceeds. We've got to file a tax return, which TMWA doesn't do. So this is new for us, but we've engaged the tax consulting wing of Eide Bailey to help us with this. And they're actually, I got an updated estimate. They're looking at close to $7 million of credit, which is more than we've been saying. So that's kind of weighted to surprise those guys. We were thinking it was going to be 4, but it's looking like it's going to be closer to 7. So that's a big deal, and we're excited about that. Okay, last slide. Just to wrap up, TMWA's revenue and operating expenses are stable. Cash position remains solid at $156 million. I talked about the refunding upcoming. That's a big deal. $9.7 million in savings is expected. And then we're going to issue SRF bonds for American Flat. We expect to close those contracts in March. Ultimately, again, the project still requires approval from both bodies. And so we're not on the hook for much if we do close those SRF funds prior to that. But just a reminder is those SRF bonds for TMWA are at 1%. So and that's it. Any questions?
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Bowman? Yes, Member Anderson.
I want to say I'm going to work with this. I actually like your old way of doing it, but I just want to commend you once again, not only you, but the entire team, everything on the financial side. You guys are spot on, which is awesome, but I love the reports, and as I'm going through them, I'm like, well, wait a minute, what about this? And then all I need to do is drop down into your narrative, and almost always it answers my question. So I just want to commend you and your team for the work you guys do on it. I just had a question. I mean, and I realize you were talking about timing and things like that as far as the change, but going to the will serves drop dramatically. Are you looking at anything? And I don't know, sometimes I'm a negative ninny, I guess, but I don't know. To me, it seems like that's pretty significant. And are we needing to adjust financially or make some predictions on how we're going to move forward if that continues?
Yeah, no, thanks for the question. That's spot on. And we've talked about that quite a bit between Danny and John and myself, saying, okay, what's coming? What's coming with the local economy? What's coming with development? Will serves could be an indicator of that. One of the challenges with will serves is developers can come with their own water and then they're not paying us at that time that they're getting a project going, or they have to buy the will serve. And so that can impact what we're recognizing as revenue or cash flow coming in from that. Will serves was no different than the other connection fees in October and November. We actually caught back up, and we're at $1.7 million through the end of November in will serves. So a little of that's timing related. It's hard to predict, but I think the discussion is more broad, and I think that's what you're getting at is like, okay, if connection fees slow down, what does that mean for TMWA? And and it will have a cash impact. We would shift priorities. Granted, we'd be building less or no new infrastructure for development. So you wouldn't have the outlays going out there if that were the case, but we would potentially have to adjust because we wouldn't have that cash coming in. Part of that is why we are so focused on rates, and not just the structure of the rates, but also what are rates set at, affordability, because we want to be able to operate the utility looking only at our recurring revenues, which is rates and investment income, basically. And so anything from new development connection fees is we should be looking at that as extra, just covering what's been outlaid. And so so I kind of talked a lot there, but I hope that answered your question.
Well done. Thank you. It's not that I doubt that you guys aren't paying attention to it. My concern is just how do you weigh that? And again, I joke about your crystal ball. And I realize that's a part of it too, going, where's it going? And to see a big change like that, it was kind of concerning. So,
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? I just too would like to echo, like, great job. I know that everyone's preference is different on how things are displayed. Maybe a balance of having it in both for a little while. We're all eager to see your dot plot. I thought maybe there might be little Christmas balls or something on the green and red. So, but what a nice Christmas present to find out that hopefully the prediction of the 9 million, or actually I was thinking you thought it was going to be 4 and then it turned out to be 7. 9 million was something else. That's a nice little Christmas present underneath the tree. And to your point on the Fed just dropping 25 basis points, it is going to be interesting to see economically how things balance out as you look at the bonds and the timing of that. And I know I'm preaching to the choir on that, but we are in a new frontier economically of this. And so I'll be eager to be watching that as well. So thank you for all your hard work. All right, this was a discussion item only, so we'll move now to item 13, which is discussion. Oh, I'm sorry. The one time I didn't ask. Okay, I will ask. Thank you, Member Ebert. I apologize.
No, that's okay. And I usually just, observe when I'm filling in. But I did have a question about, capacity. Does TMWA have like a limit that we are aware of? Like we pretty much are going to max out what we can supply population wise? Like, do we have a number out there or an estimate? Or is it just kind of like we're adjusting as we have growth and taking into account the available water resources? Or is there kind of like the basin can only support, X amount of people?
Yeah. So we recently finalized our water resource plan, so that talks specifically to that. So I definitely recommend reading the executive summary or the at a glance from that. It explains how we're looking at that, and the answer is yes. We have enough water. That plan goes out 20 years, and so the short answer is yes. We're always looking at that, and there is enough water to support population projections into the future.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is there a cap, or can we just grow indefinitely?
Oh, Mr. Rotter.
I'm gonna take off this hat and put on another hat for a minute. Danny Rotter, for the record, there is a limit to Truckee River resources, which is why in the natural resources plan, we've identified alternative resources, such things as potable reuse. And so while we continue to plan out 20 years, and that's our mechanism, we're continuing to look out beyond that and always making sure that we can continue to grow.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, yeah, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Hearing no other questions from the body, we'll close item 12. And Mr. Bowman, we're going to move to item 13, which is your item. It is an action item for discussion and action and possible authorization for the general manager to amend the Sun Valley General Improvement District wholesale agreement to increase Tier 1 usage. Mr. Bowman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Matt Bowman, CFO for the record. So this is related to Sun Valley GID. We have an agreement for wholesale water to that entity. It falls within our LVS rate schedule. As part of that rate schedule, we have an amount of water that is what's called Tier 1, and that represents basic indoor water use. And also in that schedule, we reference that we will update the tiering based on added connections within those entities. And so we work closely with Sun Valley to keep track of new services. And based on that, we are recommending to increase the Tier 1, volume of water as of January 1st, going from 38 million to 42 million gallons. So we did this last time 2 years ago, and we're sort of on every other year cadence for this.
Great. Are there any questions for Mr. Bowman? Member Ebert, do you have a question? Okay.
Sorry, I was having issues there. No, not at this time, thank you.
Well, I just want to really thank you. It's a lot of work, and the representatives from Sun Valley GID have actually shared their appreciation of TMWA and having really deep discussions and a lot of vetting. So I really want to recognize that, and we've heard that in other meetings and boards that we serve on. So I thought I'd echo that. This is an action item, and so I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Madam Chair, I move to authorize the general manager to amend the wholesale agreement with the SVGID as proposed by staff.
We have a motion by Member Taylor. We have a second by Member Martinez. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much. We'll move now to item number 14, which is an action item, discussion and possible direction for staff regarding appointments to the Standing Advisory Committee to fill vacancies and various existing positions. Ms. Folsom, thank you.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Sonia Folsom, Executive Assistant for the record. Before you, you have the current members whose terms are expiring at the end of this year, December 31st, 2025. And all but one have agreed to continue. Alternate Kevin Ryan expressed gratitude for serving on the Standing Advisory Committee, but has other commitments that conflict. And then the appointments by ban will be brought back to you in January. We were unable to get the confirmation of the reappointments before today's meeting. And with that, I will answer any questions.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Taylor?
No, I was going to make a motion. Sorry. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Move to approve appointments to the Standing Advisory Committee as presented.
We have a second. We have a motion by Member Taylor, a second by Member Vanderwall. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much. We'll move now to, hold on a second. Did I share that for Christmas, I messed up my packet? Can I have that? Thanks. We'll move now to item number 15, which is an action item, and it's discussion on appointments for, again, the Standing Advisory Committee for, to fill senior citizen alternate, at-large alternate, residential alternate, and others as presented in the agenda. So Ms. Folsom, and this is an action item.
Thank you, Sonia Folsom, for the record again. We always accept letters of interest from TMWA customers throughout the year, and when there's a vacancy, as you see, there's quite a few alternate vacancies, we will bring it to the board for, we brought it to the Standing Advisory Committee in October. They approved recommending the two applicants for your approval today, Ray Town and Keith Hayes. The positions that they recommended for them to fill were, sorry, I have it here. The multifamily primary customer sorry. For Graytown, it would be the senior citizen alternate position, and then Keith Hayes would be the at-large. Oh, boy. I should have not stapled these. The at-large 2 alternate position. And at the end of the packet, there is a map of Tumwa service territory and the addresses of all the SAC members, including the 2 applicants.
Thank
And with
you.
that, I will take any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Ms. Folsom on this item? Hearing none, I call for the motion
Move to approve.
by Member Anderson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Member Taylor, we have a motion by Member Anderson, a second by Member Taylor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll move now to item number 16, which is also an action item, discussion and action on scheduling regular board meeting dates and times for calendar year 2026. Ms. Folsom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sonia Folsom for the record. We typically try to strive to keep our TOMA board meetings on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. I try to not conflict with jurisdictional agencies' meetings or other organizations such as RTC, RSCVA, the list goes on. So before you, except for a couple outstanding ones that have been highlighted in different colors, we've maintained that 3rd Wednesday at 10 a.m. Wednesday, May 27th, which is our budget hearing, we moved it to the very last Wednesday of the month, which still adheres with NRS code to have the meeting before the end of May. And then we moved the October meeting to Thursday in blue. That shows you that it's a conflict with City of Reno Council meeting. And then we are not scheduling a November meeting because we're moving up the December meeting to December 3rd, which avoids hopefully any conflict with other agency meetings. And with that, I will take any questions.
Well, given the fact that the financial reports that we have already gone over have received certificate of financial recognition, doing this, Ms. Folsom, also should be a certification of achievement and recognition. Let me be very, very clear that those of us who've had the pleasure of having to monitor and schedule and get everyone, I really want to make sure that we recognize how much is really involved and just these dates right here. I can't imagine the hours of trying to schedule that. Do we have any questions for Ms. Folsom? But we do have a unanimous certification and achievement that we'd like to recognize you for. This is an action item. I'll call for the motion at this time.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Member Anderson.
Second.
We have a second by Member Taylor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the motion can be approved by you saying aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Motion carries with glee and a lot of recognition unanimously. Thank you really for doing that. It's a lot of work.
Thank you. And I just want to point out that our October board meeting is a strategic planning session. When that invite goes out, it will be a longer period. Just an FYI.
I know everyone is going to be, the first thing on their schedule is going to put October 22nd and block out those 4 or 5 hours. I just know it. Merry Christmas. Thank you. We'll move now to item number 17, which is Mr. Rotter.
Thank you. This is Danny Rotter for the record. A couple items for you. The Ladybug project is complete, which has nothing to do with ladybugs and everything to do with de-risking the Middle Truckee River watershed forest from catastrophic wildfire. That is the pilot study and project that TMWA joined and eventually created the Middle Truckee River Watershed Forest Partnership, the partnership for short. And I just wanted to say thank you to Akara Steelan and Steph Morris for their leadership and vision on that and seeing it through. It's been a number of years and and really cool to see that thing kick off and finish up the first big project for that. So thank you. Also, I don't know why Matt didn't mention this, but Fitch maintained TMWA's AAA rating. It's not an ultimate barometer, but it's again another good sign for our financials. I know Matt doesn't like to mention it because once you're at the top, there's only kind of one way to go. So you got to stay at the top. But as you can see, they're always hard at work doing that.
Well, Moody's has a couple places to,
We got some room.
there's some
We got
room
some
on Moody's, but
Yeah.
who brought that up?
And then in the realm of kind of new business improvements, we're working on this year trying to take online payments, which has been a big request
great.
from the community.
That's great.
Also, while we were sitting here, we got state engineer approval on that Rule 7
Oh,
thing. So now we can get that rolling. Maybe they were online listening to us, but they're all good to go. And then lastly, in that realm, we're working with NAOP and Northern Nevada Public Health on a few potential building permit process improvements. And we're trying to kind of understand and see the framework and see the regulatory realm and trying to see what can be improved. And so we're working on that. And then we're also working, another topic, shifting topics here, we're working with Washoe County staff to organize a meeting for the River Oak subdivision and the Verdi Meadows Utility Company situation. There's been a lot of questions around, PUCN questions coming to TMWA questions coming to staff. And so we're trying to get a meeting together where PUC, NDEP, the utility, TMWA can all be there to make sure we answer all the questions that are possible and make sure everybody has a chance to understand. So we're working on that. And then lastly, in the just the spirit of holidays and seeing all the staff out here, I know John feels this too. When you look at here and you know that I just mentioned a few things that people are working on, and I see every face and everything that you all are working on. And so thank you for that, and thank you for having me part of the team. So that's all I got.
thank you. I really want to thank you for the quick turnaround time for meeting with NAOP and with the Northern Nevada Public Health, and for all you do, quite frankly. And I really feel like I need to call on Member Anderson to see if he has any questions for you, because I feel that would be the true Christmas present, that maybe the surprise you didn't know. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. No, actually, Danny, I just want to say, well done. Thank you. And likewise, thank you to the team. I do have one question, but I think it's pretty easy. So on the Ladybug project, how long before we'll actually be able to measure the work that was done and improvements that would be made by that?
Carr, do you want to take that one?
Been such a big project and going on for quite some time. So I was just curious when we'll be able to see that.
Yeah, Cara Steelan for the record. I think it's kind of a challenging question because the real benefit of the forest management work is in the prevention of large-scale catastrophic fires. So, there have been other fires in the area kind of closer to Sierraville where they have done this forest thinning work, fuels reduction work, where they have seen the fire slow down, become much less intense, much less severe, and firefighters were able to put those fires out. So that's the real benefit of these projects, is decreasing that chance of a really severe fire from occurring. And so that was a 2,500 acre project. The ultimate goal is to treat about 60,000 acres of that 320,000 acre subwatershed over the next 10 years.
So I'm not going to hope for a fire, but
Please don't.
if one happens, then what we would be able to say is that there was less of an impact because of the work that was done.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a little bit nebulous, but yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any questions for Mr. Rotter? Member Ebert, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your report. Thanks for doing a great job today as well. We'll go ahead and close that item and move to public comment. Do we have any public comment at this time? Hearing none, we're going to go ahead and move to item number 19, which is board comments and requests for future agenda items. Any board comments or requests for future agenda items? Well, hearing none, we're going to call for adjournment at 11:29. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Be safe out there. Christmas Eve.